voice before you start. Goodness gracious. Good morning. Good morning, Karen. First in. I don't know if you've ever been first in before. Congratulations to you. Just on her hot on her tail. Here comes lovely L3. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Here we are at our 8:30 time. I'm cheating on the coffee cam already. But you know, it's still potentially going to be a little bit loud up there for a little bit. I'm going to give it a couple more days. Good morning, Sly. I see you. Good morning, John. Nice to see you. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I'll probably say that a few more times today. And happy Monday. It's 8:31 a.m. You've made it to PVRN. PVRN, that's the name. Yeah, there we go. It's Puerto Vallarta right now. Of course, I'm your host, Brent Lane. Amazing to see you again this morning on the 13th of July. We're almost halfway through July, and we are smacking the dab of low season here in Puerto Vallarta. It's hot. It's steamy. We got massive storms. I don't know if you guys saw that last night, guys and gals. Hopefully you didn't lose power if you live here. But definitely we had a big storm last night, lots of wind. It kind of came out of nowhere. Usually when we have a big storm blow in like that, you see a lot of warnings, a lot of news stuff. Did not see that. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Chandra, I see you. Don Diego, aka Tom, I see you. Yeah, this weekend, hope you guys all had a great weekend. Maybe you got some pictures of the storm last night. Don't forget, as I mentioned on Friday, if you get a good picture or you can pull one out of a video and you catch a lightning or just a really cool clouds coming in, send me some storm photos. I'd like to show those on Friday. Also, I'll be sharing a kind of a surprise on, maybe I'll do it before Friday. We'll see, but a video I shot, an episode actually of a show. I'm not going to give you a lot more right now. Somebody came to Puerto Vallarta, filming a show across Mexico. I think he came down from Baja or Cabo and interviewed me about some pretty interesting stuff about living in Mexico. So I know he just finished that up and released that video. I just want a chance to check it out before I share it with you, but I'm sure it'll be fun and informative, and I'll send that out to you all soon. Also this weekend, just kind of catching up on the fun. We went scuba diving again. We're always scuba diving. We try to at least go once a month, if we can. This weekend, Laura found again a seahorse, and she promptly did this signal. Like here, let me go back a little bit. There we go. It was very exciting because I don't know if you know it, but seahorses are kind of rare to find here. This is the second or third one she's found. This one was pretty big. We got a little bit of video of that, and if I could get a decent shot of it, I'll share it on Friday with you all. But yeah, a good weekend of scuba diving and fun and storms. I hope you guys had a good weekend too. All right. Let's jump into it. My voice is a little scratchy today, so why not have the coffee cam? Let's go.
Hey, clink those cups, let's wake again.
All right. Let's jump on in. So again, good morning, everybody. If there's anything you want to talk about, definitely put it in the chat. We're always open to chat about everything. Thanks for the coffees, lovely L3, and whatever else that other emoji is. But they're all over the screen. I love them. They look great. All right. Yeah, Seahorse was really cool. I'm hoping to share that one. Definitely excited, Laura. That was really, really fun. All right. Let's jump into the news. First of all, let's take a look outside. This was this morning around 7:45. When we get the show back to its normal time, which could be 9 a.m., we'll see what everybody thinks about it. Instead of 10 a.m., it kind of frees up my day a little bit more too. All right, and be sure to pay attention to the ticker. We've got all kinds of good stuff. The peso's changed in value. We've got those thunderstorm info, and we got some flight info too. Just high-level stuff. All right. Jumping into our first story today, holy moly, look at this slide. There is a lot of info on here. I definitely used AI to help me with this one, but if you haven't seen this some version of this online, this is the new garbage collection schedule. It came out a couple days ago. So very, very interesting. Oh, I just got an interesting comment. Okay, let me drop this. You saw Brighton's video yesterday. You thought it was well done. Thank you. Spoiler alert. Yes, Brighton did come to town and interview me. I didn't know it was out there in the wild yet, but that's amazing. Glad to hear his good feedback. I haven't even seen it yet. I kind of remember doing it. Believe it or not, we did that quite a while ago. I believe it was at least a couple months ago when he came here and did that interview. So thank you for that feedback, Kat. And Good morning. I'm glad you got to check that out. But yeah, spoiler alert, his name is Brighton. He does put out these great videos about Mexico, and check him out. I'll be sharing more about that this week for sure. All right, back into the garbage collection schedule. And I'll post this on my Facebook page, so don't worry about the eye chart. We'll just take that down for now. But the Puerto Vallarta municipal government has implemented a new calendar for urban waste management designed to organize collection operations across the city. Of course, everybody's been talking about this. It's been all over social media. So the updated list I showed you of routes divides the municipality into specific neighborhood routes with designed morning and evening transit windows. The primary objective of this reorganization is to prevent domestic waste from remaining on the public sidewalks for extended periods, which will then reduce the presence of stray animals, keeping the streets more clean. They're not ripping open the trash. Definitely reducing the smell. And, a lot of people have been really upset about that. Good morning, Lori. Listening in your car, drive safely. Under the new administrative guidelines, the service is going to be split into two primary shifts operating throughout the week. Again, I'll post the schedule on my Facebook page at the conclusion of the show. The morning route will begin at 6:30 in the morning. It's going to cover sectors, not all, but some of them are the Hotel Zone, Central, Olas Atlas, Emiliano Zapata, and several other areas such as La Juntas and Estapa. The evening route's going to begin at 7 p.m. for areas like Versailles, Puerto Vallarta, Pitial, etc. So again, the chart's pretty long. I'm not going to read them all to you, but local authorities instruct residents to please place their sealed waste containers outside as close to the specific pickup time as possible to again prevent those animals from tearing into it and just helping to beautify the sight and smell of our lovely city. So again, if you missed it, that's what the graphic looks like. I know it's impossible to see here, but once again, I'm going to have that posted on my Facebook page so you can take a look. I had to put this together pretty quick this morning, but I think you will get the gist of it and figure out where your neighborhood is and where you fit. Again, it's been all over social media. Let's have a sip of coffee. I don't know why my voice is dragging today, but I sound rough. I didn't do anything. Had a really easy day yesterday. I mean, I think the bulk of my day was working through the stress of transferring Laura's phone from her old one to the new one, which is very, very stressful these days. I don't know about you, but if you're an Apple user, why has it gotten more difficult? It used to be one phone was here, the other phone was here, everything moves over and you just go. But maybe with so many logins and so many multi-factor authorizations, and it pings other devices so much. And so what if the other device broke? Oh, it's a nightmare. Luckily, hers went a lot smoother than mine did. I transferred my phone in the US and quickly learned that Mexican SIM cards won't transfer if you're in a different country. And for some reason, hers, well, yeah, whatever. Let's just not even go in there. But whatever. If you're transferring a phone, give yourself a little extra time. Make sure you've got really good Wi-Fi. And make sure you're in Mexico if you have a Mexico line. That's my advice for the day. All right, cheers. Let's move on. Next up, let's talk about these bike paths. So on CPS News, by the way, I do the TV news tonight. If you're into the 1 hour evening newscast, tonight is CPS News with Jesse and Brent at 7 p.m. locally on television 10.1 and also going to be on YouTube, etc. So if you've been watching me on my televised news with Jesse, well, that's where I anchor the local news in English. And we've been going almost 3 years now. It's crazy. But we talked about this a while back. And so a formal municipal program designed to restore and upgrade the deteriorating urban bicycle path infrastructure in Puerto Vallarta unfortunately still remains unfinished more than 8 months after receiving the official approval for it. And we talked about it a bit before that because it was in process. This project originally was introduced by Municipal Councilor Rubio and authorized by the City Council in November back in 2025. It details the structural rehabilitation of 14 separate bike lane sections, and the planned construction covers over 734,000 meters across 70 municipal neighborhoods to provide secure bike routes for over 6,000 local cyclists. I love this, but unfortunately, as you saw in the photo, It ain't done. Sounding like a Texan. So, despite those initial claims by municipal officials that various public works and transit departments were actively coordinating on the weekly route reviews, local cycling groups report that no improvements have occurred. The continued delay has forced civic organizations to organize independent volunteer cleanups and place physical barriers to block vehicles from encroaching into those bike lanes. Obviously, very dangerous. Advocates are urging the municipal transit subdirection to enforce strict financial penalties against motorists who use the uncompleted bike lanes for driving or unauthorized parking. But most of all, it doesn't even say it in this article. Most of all, the bikers just want the lanes to be done. I want the lanes to be done. It would be great to have them cleared out, enforced. I know we've got bike lanes down there in the primary Malecon. I see a lot of people walking in them because they probably just don't know. There's not a lot of bikes going by. So try to be cautious of those, be aware of those bike lanes. And of course, once the ones are finished, I think it's going to be much easier to identify them and also not drive on them. Right now, it's just like a cone and maybe, some construction or broken pavement. So I think as they're completed, I would guess they'd be more avoided as well and more used by bikers, which would also hopefully create more avoidance. That's my 2 cents, for what it's worth. So for my 2 cents, let's have a cheers. Here's to my 2 cents. Boom. All right. Hopefully you had a sip of coffee with me. All right, there's not a lot of news today. This is actually going to be our last story today, and this one is outside of Puerto Vallarta, and it's actually a pretty tragic one and very unfortunate. And this is actually is also an ongoing story, so I'm going to have to update it as we go. But you might, and probably, especially if you're here locally, have already heard or seen something about this tragic story. But this is the big accident with multiple fatalities. Unfortunately, a massive multi-vehicle collision on Federal Highway 15D, which connects Guadalajara and Tepic, resulted in a preliminary official toll of 10 fatalities as of the airing of this show. The incident began as what they're calling minor rear-end collision between two, what they call transport trucks, big semis, and it was already actively being managed by the National Guard units on the scene. The situation quickly escalated and severely when a third incoming tractor trailer crashed directly into the initial accident zone. We see this so often at high speed, causing a violent chain reaction impact, as the article states. This secondary collision triggered a massive fire that completely consumed 3 private vehicles and the 2 cargo trucks, while heavily damaging the 2 additional cars and even the National Guard patrol vehicle. Emergency personnel from HALA and regional medical assessment units treated the injured before transporting to hospitals in Tepic and also in Guadalajara. Governor Pablo Lemus yesterday confirmed the state administrative resources will support the families that were affected, while federal forensic investigators continue to search the site amid unconfirmed local reports that the actual death toll could rise. I've seen other stories saying it could go to 16 or more, but currently it is at 10. We hope for no more. Side note, to mitigate the risk of secondary highway collisions, this happens a lot. I kind of was thinking about some things and I saw some other posts out there, clearly advising motorists to reduce speed immediately and always activate your hazard lights the moment you see slow or stationary traffic ahead. If you're not from Mexico and you haven't driven in Mexico, I've driven a lot. Hazard lights mean lots of things. They mean I'm about to park, I'm about to move over, I'm about to slow down, there's slow traffic ahead, there's a speed bump ahead, as we call topes. There's a lot of things that hazards mean, but in Mexico, people pay attention to hazard lights because they do mean, hey, this car ahead is trying to tell me something. I don't know exactly what it is, but I need to slow down. So activate those the minute you see that slower stationary traffic ahead, day or night. Maintaining a minimum 3-second following distance. Of course, we've learned that ever since we were young. That's also going to give you a little more reaction time. And drivers should completely avoid stopping on active highway lanes near existing accidents. Opting instead to clear the road, move over to the side if you can. Just get yourself out of the path of possible rear collision, so this doesn't hopefully happen to you. Try to get to the shoulder. So furthermore, if your vehicle becomes disabled involved in a minor accident, Occupants should exit the vehicle immediately when it's safe to do so. Often we hear it's not advised to move your vehicles until the insurance company or police show up. We understand that, but just try to get yourself safe and out of that flow of traffic where another vehicle that might not be paying attention. And I don't know the situation of this tractor trailer, but this is an accident that went from something very minor to something very, very fatal and very unfortunate. So again, if you've seen that story out there, if you followed it, these are the details that you need to know, and those are updated as of this morning. All right, that's it for News Day. We had quite a bit today. I want to remind you to please, if you've got anything you want to send me, viewer mail, a story idea, you just want to say hi like Mark Hartman did last week, or you want to write me and say, I've got an art showing or something musical coming up. I can't guarantee I can make it to everything, but I'll make it to some of it to support you for sure. So I'll be going to an art gallery showing that I was invited to recently, and I'll share some information about that. But that's how you reach me right there. My email, pvrnmx@gmail.com. And of course, do not forget, if you're new to the show, we don't get a whole lot of live viewers when I'm at 8:30 a.m. Unfortunately, we're down to about half. But if you're new and you're watching this on replay or you're watching it live, just take a minute, ding the bell on the bottom, and then you have to go in and click notifications all, and you'll be notified about the show. And of course, I also notify you on Facebook. That's it for today. A little bit of news. I got some more stuff to put together. Thank you for mentioning Brighton's video. I hope to see that soon with Laura and see how that interview turned out. And I, of course, will be sharing the link to that with everybody on my Facebook page, YouTube, and everywhere else. So you can check it out and get some tips about how Mexico has been great for me, but maybe not forever. And it'll be a very interesting take, even though, I'm so ingrained in this community these days. All right. Support my sponsors. They're coming up just after this. I really appreciate you guys coming in. I know it's earlier at 8:30. Let's see how the construction goes this week. I'm going to monitor it. If it's a little bit quieter, we're going to bump that thing to 9 a.m. and give you guys a little bit more shut-eye. Have a great one, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow on Puerto Vallarta right now.